My dad yeeted me into a pool when I couldn't swim and yelled, "You better learn fast." Oh, okay. Hey, here's an awkward one. Here's an awkward one. So when I was a kid, I don't know if all of y'all have this. In North America, there's a thing called the Boy Scouts of America. Now it's different than what it was, but when I was a kid, it was like you would join, you would go on camping trips, you would earn like merit badges and stuff like that. And it was cool. It was cool. You would do different things. You would learn like, you know, fire safety, knife safety, firearms in some cases, like heavily supervised. There would be camp where you do like archery. It was pretty neat. There was a badge, and it was just like, you know, swimming badge that I was supposed to be working on. And my dad, he was like, all right, you've been dragging your feet on this. You know, what's the last thing? And I was like, I have to jump into a body of water fully dressed, and then like before I drown, shed my outer layers and use them to make a flotation device. And he's like, all right, put on your Sunday clothes. And I was like, what? And he's like, put on your, you know, dress pants, your dress shirt, your button-up shirt, and your dress shoes. Put your swimming suit on under it. And I was like, now? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh God. And I was like middle school age, so I might have been like 12, 13. So I do it, and he drives me to the neighborhood pool. And there's a lot of people I had like no friends, but there was a lot of people there I recognized. And I'm walking into the pool in like Sunday church clothes, and I'm like, young me, middle of puberty, I was mortified. And he goes over to the lifeguard. He's like, hey, my kid's working on a merit badge. He's gonna jump in the pool fully clothed. I want you to know he's not drowning. And the guy's like, all right, I won't help. And I'm just like, now I could swim, but I'd never done this fully clothed before. And he basically just told the lifeguard, don't help. And I'm just like, what the muck, you know? So then he's like, we go over to the deep end. Lots of people are making glances at me. And I'm like, should I just go? And he's like, yeah, just jump in. I'm like, but I really don't. And he shoves me. He just like shoves me into the pool, just boof. You know, it's that TV moment. Better learn fast. A new arrival. And he just throws me in. And yeah, and of course I'm like, "Ugh," and he's like, kick your shoes off before you drown. And I'm like, "Ugh," you know, and I kick off the dress shoes. And I'm trying to stay up, and you know, so I'm in a public pool with my dad yelling things like, take off your pants. And I'm like, just dying softly in the deep end, trying to kick the pants off. Which again, I had a swimsuit on underneath, but it was just, I was so embarrassed. And I, get them off, and there's a trick where you can turn a pair of pants into a flotation device. I had to do that. And then like at the end, he's like, all right, swim down to the bottom, get your shoes back out. So we could go. It was just like the whole thing, we were there for like 10 minutes or less. And I hated every second of it. All right, I just logged onto the wrong character. Muck, I started following you lately. What is this thing you say when people sub to you and want to know the story behind it? Rude Chip just pasted it in the chat. I've got a command, !welcome, that puts it in chat. And the story is, I just thought it would be funny to give people a warm welcome, and every time I memorized the warm welcome, I made it longer and longer and longer. And then one day, when I was at the point where I was saying, oh, hey, Muckler, Douglas, Bartholomew, Reginald, Esquire, the fourth, this is John Smith, Stuffles, the third, who's you new viewer to the Bones on VIP Lounge, hope your station groups are on the way, giveaways every week, but please take a seat, but you'll only need the edge. My wife, who was not in here and not involved in any way, walked in from another room, and she put her hand on my shoulder, and she leaned down, and she whispered into my ear, do not make that any longer. You are driving me insane. And then she left. She had nothing to do with this. So I was going to add more, but she stopped me there. She stopped me there. That was as far as it got. So, it could have been so much more, chat. It could have been so much more, but that's as much as we got. Blame the wife? I am absolutely. If she's at fault, I will blame the wife. They eat chicken with no seasoning. Oh God, you're giving me PTSD right now. The chicken guy. No. The freaking chicken guy. All right, I gotta tell this story. So for those of you that haven't heard it, one day I was doing a giveaway, and I'm drawing the winner, and it was some big item. It was like eternity or something, you guys, okay? And you know, I'm like, all right, we're drawing the winner. Here we go. Cross your fingers, cross your toes, use a lifeline 50-50, poll the audience, phone a friend, rub a bald man's head for good luck. This is the big one. Pick a winner. And I amped it up and I drew a name and I was like, Billy Bob, come on down. And everyone's like, ah, rigged, ah. And he posts his name. Billy Bob, you won. I'm just gotta make sure you're not a bot. Are you there? Yeah. All right, Billy Bob, I'm gonna need a human answer from you. Please. I'm about to give you like 4,000 gold here. I need a human answer. What, just tell me something about you. Like, what are you gonna use this sword for? What's your favorite food in the whole wide world? Like, what meal has made you weep? Give me a human answer. Chicken. Okay, what was on the chicken? Was it fried? Was it grilled? Was it a sandwich? Was it a salad? Like, how was it seasoned? Salt and pepper. Billy Bob, I need you to understand, if this was a physical box copy, I would slap you with it. I'm gonna give you this because you won it fair and square, but I ain't happy about it. Like, oh my God, Chad, I was about to blow a blood vessel. That was chicken. Oh my gosh. I'm dying here. I'm glad one of us is enjoying it. He technically answered. Yeah, he technically did. I remember something else I said. I was like, Billy Bob, I'm actually gonna double your prize. I'm giving you two things. I'm gonna give you an eternity and I'm gonna give you life advice. If you ever do this on a date, she will not answer the phone again. Congratulations. That's right, I forgot about that. I hit him with that on the way out. Oh, short story chat. Yesterday, my son leaves the blinds open on the front door. So this guy comes up, I don't know him, and he rings the doorbell. And because the blinds are open, I can't pretend I'm not home. And like, I glare at my son because he left the blinds open because now I have to actually, interact with another human being, which is just awful. And so I go up to the guy, or I go up and I open the door and I'm like, hi. And he's like, hi, are you Mr. Douglas Bartholomew Reginald Esquire IV? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he's like, oh, great. Listen, I was over at your neighbor's house, and I was talking to the, and he starts naming off all my neighbors. He's like, yeah, I was talking to the Billy Bobs and the Sammy Joes and the who's it, what's it, all the stuff. He just names all of them off. And he's like, and, we're doing a treatment because they've been having a wasp problem. And in my head, I'm like, oh, this guy's like pesticide or something. And I'm like, okay. And the thing is, we pay HOA fees in our neighborhood, chat. And part of that is they do pest control. So occasionally, periodically someone will come by and knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm doing the treatment. I'm just like, all right, thumbs up. And they go around the house and spray. So I'm like, okay, this guy's with them. And he's like, all right, so if you would like to get you want to get the wasp taken care of too. And I was just like, is this included? Or are you asking if I want to pay extra for this? And he's like, no, I don't work with the HOA. And I'm like, you don't? I'm like, okay, well, and I'm not having a wasp problem, so no thank you then, not at this time. And he's like, okay, because the difference between me and another pest control is, see, we start at the street and then we start to bring it in. We start at the street and we bring it in, which is much more effective than what you're doing. And I'm like, no thank you, not at this time. And he's like, okay, and what's your first name, by the way? And I was like, Michael. And he's like, all right, Michael, nice to meet you, man. And he goes like this. We're in a pandemic. I don't know this guy. So I very awkwardly, I don't want to fist bump him. I very awkwardly am like, nice to meet you too. But I don't raise my arm. It was weird for all parties involved, chat. It was weird for all parties involved. So he's like, okay, and he lowers his arm. He lowers his arm, and he's like, oh, and can I ask one more non-work related question? I'm like, all right. And he's like, yeah, what church do you guys go to? I don't. Okay, have a nice day. And I'm like, Yeah, you too. It's like the third time I've said this, and then I closed the door. Like, I was like, what? Like, is this guy gonna go tell my pastor on me? Bishop, Michael wouldn't take the wasp juice. Like, I don't, like, what? It was so strange. It was very strange.